Hello everyone and welcome back to First Sip here at Elevated Beer, Wine, and Spirits. I'm Matt, and normally to my right we have Tom, but this is clearly not Tom. Today we have Jackie, who is a manager here at our White Bear Lake store, and instead of featuring beer today, we're going to be featuring some local ciders. And one of the reasons that we're going to be featuring those local ciders and featuring Jackie today is that all ciders are gluten-free, and it just so happens that Jackie has celiac disease. So tell us a little bit about what it means to be gluten intolerant or to have celiac disease, how those kind of play into each other, and why cider is so awesome for someone who cannot have beer.
A person with celiac disease is gluten intolerant. That means their body can't process those enzymes that gluten creates in your body. Different people react different ways, but the only cure, I guess, would be to live a gluten-free lifestyle.
And so you aim to do that, and one of the reasons that you cannot have beer is because gluten is found in barley, in wheat, in many of the grains that are almost always used for almost every beer.
Wheat, barley, and rye.
So it's pretty cool for you and for other people with varying levels of gluten intolerance that craft cider is becoming really popular right alongside craft beer. As that industry grows, it seems like the craft cider industry is really growing too, which gives you more things to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty much exclusively ciders for me.
So we've got Wyndfall here today. We got a couple different ciders from them. They are located in Jordan, Minnesota, and actually operate on a farm, the Minnesota Harvest Apple Orchard. So they kind of have a farm to table, or as they call it, a tree to bottle operation, where they do everything right there on the orchard, press it, ferment it, bottle it up, and ship it out to varying bars and places like Elevated Beer, Wine, and Spirits throughout Minnesota. So they're really focused on bringing kind of that love of the apple and the apple tree to us Minnesotans, and maybe spreading beyond that at some points. So tell us what you know about Wyndfall and about our first cider that we're going to try.
So the nice thing about Wyndfall is that they use apples and yeast, and then the adding of flavors. So today we're going to try Homesteader, which is a hopped cider made with Centennial hops. So it's great for beer lovers who like that hoppiness, the fresh IPA citrusiness that those hops give.
Yeah, I'm getting a first sip of this. First of all, nice, clear. As I smell it, it smells like an apple tree. It smells delicious. Taking my first sip, definitely has a little bit of a tartness to it. Definitely not a sweet cider. You know, there's just a little bit of sweetness in there, but like biting into a nice, crisp, almost like Granny Smith type apple. And something that's similar there, you know, from the hops, I think, is it's got just a little citrusy note to it, almost a little bit of that hop bitterness that's kind of like a, you know, almost a citrus grapefruit type of flavor.
So I like this one because it's dry. A lot of people who don't drink a lot of ciders are afraid that they're going to be too sweet. And I tell people all the time that just because it's a cider and it's made with apples doesn't mean it's going to be overly sugar and overly sweet. It's not going to give you that gut rot feeling that some other brands do.
Totally. So moving on to the next cider that we're going to try, tell us about Root River.
Root River is their raspberry cider. It's a semi-sweet, so it does have a little bit of added sugar to it, but it's made with fresh raspberries, still nice and light. Again, just because it's called semi-sweet, it doesn't necessarily taste overly sweet.
Yeah, I'm getting a first sip of this. First thing I noticed was the nice kind of ruby hue of it. I assume comes from the fresh raspberries. And as I'm getting a first sip of it, again, same thing. There's a little bit of sweetness there, a little sweeter than the first cider that we tried, but not over the top. It really matches that raspberry flavor. And again, kind of thinking of eating a raspberry, how it's a little tart, a little sweet. This has a little bit of that mixed with that kind of dry apple cider flavor.
Yep. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, very good.
Very good.
So come on down to Elevated Beer, Wine, and Spirits here in White Bear Lake. We also have a location in South Minneapolis. Check out Wyndfall, chat with Jackie, chat with me, Matt. We'd love to talk ciders and love to talk beers, wines, spirits as well. So come on down. Thanks for joining us today. Cheers.
Cheers.